All right, guys, welcome back for another great episode of PFREI. I'm your host, Fuquan Bilal. Today we have Brian Joyce. So Brian and I, we actually are part of the same mastermind, and wanted to bring him on to kind of share his experience and journey in the real estate business. Brian, I see you guys started around 2011. Tell a little bit about your backstory, how you guys started, and then we'll pretty much go from there.
Sure. Yeah, really appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. It's always good to get out and talk and tell the story, so appreciate it. Me and one of my best pals that I grew up with actually went to junior high school, played football with, are the ones who started the business together. I was still in Arizona at the time in 2010, 2011. I'm studying at Arizona State, and he actually was over here in Florida where our business is based out of. Coming to Wholesale. He came to really study audio engineering, music management, those kind of things. And one of his professors in his class told him about a thing called tax deeds, which is how we started our business and what we originally did with investing in real estate. And so he learned about that, jumped into real estate, dropped out of Wholesale, and then came back for Christmas break when we were still young, so 19 years old, right? And was just telling me and all the guys how he made all this money just doing a flip from something called tax deeds. So me at the time knew nothing really about real estate. I was thinking to myself, how can you buy somebody's house for their taxes that are owed? I mean, that's the true nature of the term pennies on the dollar. So when he had told us all this, at first my reaction was unfortunately disbelief. And so I said, there's no way that can be true. At the time I'd grown up in Arizona, not how they do it in Arizona. So to me, I'm like, that's not possible, not a thing, whatever, brushed it off. It was cool that he made a bunch of money, but was like, But it really was kind of digging at me, right? How can we really get deals that good? I mean, talk about ROI when you're buying a $100,000 house at an auction for $4K. So I'm like, you know what, that sounds kind of interesting. Let me try to dig in a little bit here. Funny story. So both my parents are engineers, grew up with both of them. And my mom actually during the boom and bust kind of got away from engineering for a little bit and tried to do a little bit of real estate. A lot of get rich quick schemes there, unfortunately. Turns out she bought one that wasn't. So I'm going through some of the old stuff she had purchased during that boom in the garage. And lo and behold, I find a course on tax deeds in Florida. So, my buddy had just came in town a couple months ago talking about this tax deed thing. Then I find a course in the garage on tax deeds.
Meant to be.
Whole thing, did a bunch of my own research and figured out, okay, that's how Florida and other, 17 other states do it, is if you don't pay your taxes for 4 years in a row, the county just goes ahead and sells your property. The starting bid is what you owe them in taxes and fees. So that blew my mind. I called him up. April 2011, we bought our first deal together from a tax deed auction, $22,000. In Brevard County, and just raised the money from family and friends. The first one was $22K, so not a huge amount of money. Made a little bit of money on the first one. The next round we bought two, so on and so forth. And then, we really raised a bunch of money and became full-time fix and flippers around 2013-ish. The first few years were just kind of trial and error. Really started as more of a hobby. Let's buy some stuff from auction, see if we can flip it. Turned out we made some money and said, okay, this can be a business for us, and then put it together.
Awesome. Now, why are you passionate for real estate investing? That's one of the questions that I ask every guest that I come on the show. Why are you passionate for real estate investing?
Got it. Great question. And, I've had a lot of time to think about this lately, right? I've been kind of locked in my house. I'm back in my office now. Thank the Lord. I couldn't do the work from home anymore, but had some good time to think about this a little further. And, like I said, was raised by engineers. So my mind is very scientific. I really love the analysis part of real estate, especially investing. Never really thought the realtor thing, I'm not dogging on them by any means, but was not a fit for me. I'm more of the dig in, get to the nitty gritty details, run some numbers, figure out some construction costs, stuff like that. So one is the analysis that it takes to do an investment, is what really gets me going for some of these deals. And then secondly, I'm a people person. Love talking to people, love meeting new people, and really learning other people's stories. So I get both of those things in wholesale, right? I'm talking to new people almost every day. We do get some repeat sellers that are selling us some deals that we can move, but most of the time, right, it's a new distressed person that I have to call, build a new relationship with, learn their story, tell them my story, and really just have really a friend in a way, right? A lot of times we're closing these deals and these people are saying, next time you're in town, let's go to lunch, blah, blah, blah. So the people and the analysis of investment is really what drew me to real estate investing in the first place.
That's awesome, man. Now you talked about tax deed. So here in New Jersey, is a tax lien state. So
Okay.
I purchase a lot of tax liens. That's my way of getting a property at discount as well. Let's talk about that a little bit. And you said you were doing that in Florida. So with tax deed, is it right to say that once you purchase that tax deed, you essentially own the property? There's no foreclosure process. You can right away start the renovation. Is that how that works?
Yeah, so actually the the tax deed auction is the foreclosure process, right? So they still have a lien auction. So where you guys in your lien state, they still have the lien auction here. 2 years in, 2 years of non-payment on taxes, they hold a lien auction. We can buy those in Florida. Typically, it's going to be another municipality that's buying that lien up front. And then 2 more years of non-payment on taxes is when the county actually forecloses, uses the tax deed auction as the foreclosure. The new owner that owns the tax deed owns the house, and it's in a first position lien. So you've got the deed to the property. You do have some title stuff you have to figure out. But yeah, when you buy a deed at that auction, you own the house.
Wow. So the foreclosure doesn't cleanse the title?
So in just what the county does know. So when we were buying tax deeds, there's 2 options. One is the classic one, quiet title action, right? Which you pay an attorney for. It's going to range somewhere between $1,800 and $3,000, take you somewhere between 30 and 60 days. Luckily, when we got started, there was this new thing that had come out. It's called deed certification. There's a few companies that do it now, and we got linked up with a title company actually out of Indiana who does it. Essentially, they just look and make sure the county did their job right. And then they put the stamp of approval on it. They give you that title policy and you're good to go. They can do that in 10 days, and it's as low as $1,750 and as high as $2,250, depending on the purchase price. So that was pretty cool because we could buy a house at auction today and close on it again 10 days later, perfectly legal, the correct title, general warranty deed going out. So that was nice because we didn't have to wait to do flips, and we had this access to these auctions where we didn't really have to wait or didn't have to pay thousands to an attorney to move the property within the same year. So we use that 100% of our deals, the deed certification. Sometimes we bought it, deed certified it, and then just sold it to another investor. But in the early days, we were doing mostly fix and flip. There were there, but really until about 2018, most of our deals were fix and flip in-house.
Yeah, we actually, with the tax liens, we actually have to go through that MREM or in persona foreclosure, which can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, and then they still have the redemption period. So,
Yep.
Are there any redemption periods on those deeds, or no? Because it's a deed, right? Is it
1 day?
1 day? Oh, wow!
1 day.
That's
So
just in Florida, or every tax deed state?
That's just in Florida. So, my whole career in tax deeds was in Florida, so I don't want to speak for any other states, but yeah, I mean, we had something where we won a bid, right? We bought a property and they showed up at the time of the auction, paid their taxes. The county calls us, says, "Hey, you won this auction, but I'm sorry, they came in and paid their taxes. Here's your money back. Get the next one."
Yeah.
But yeah, it can happen that way. It's great when they can save their house. And it's always good that you get your money back at least too. So you are protected, but it can happen.
Now, since then, you transitioned into wholesaling, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk about that a little bit. I actually, I've been investing for 20 years, and wasn't one of the tools that was in my tool bags to use, because I always looked at it from 2009 when it was really, really, for me, when I started seeing a lot of wholesaling, it was more totem pole style, where one person would get it, throw their fee on the top, and you get to the closing, you have 5 different people that have to get paid. I know it's a little different nowadays, and I'm around people in my mastermind that this is actually their business. This is what they do, and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars just wholesaling. So let's talk about that a little bit, because that seems like a phenomenon that everybody is getting into because of the low cost of entry, and you can do it from your home. You just need good systems and stuff in place in order to make it happen. So why did you make that transition to, from the tax deeds or fix and flip to just purely, doing predominantly wholesaling?
Yeah, great question, right? Because normally the goes wholesaler, fix and flip, or landlord. We kind of did it out of order, so to speak. We did fix and flip. Then we had a rental portfolio of about 33 at one point as well, and now we're only wholesale. So really, the transition was a personal one. To be honest, we like the deal, like putting the deal together, way more than we like the construction management. Right. So me and my old business partner, we grew up talkers, we grew up salesmen. We like helping people. We like putting deals together. So in the beginning, when we were doing a couple flips at a time, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's like, okay, we're still flipping, making good money. But what we actually ended up doing was building our business more geared towards a wholesale business. And at a certain point in time, we said we had 24 flips going on at once. And we looked at each other and we're like, we don't have any property managers. Like, we're building a wholesale company, not a flipping company. Had gotten really, really good at direct to seller marketing. In our transition from the auctions into direct to seller purchases, we were tired of paying the wholesale fees. So we actually learned how to do direct mail as a bulk mailer. We learned how to get directly to that seller and get that deal on our own without having to pay a $5, $10, $20,000 assignment fee. So we spent a lot of time, energy, and resources on getting good at marketing to sellers. And then before we knew it, we had too many deals coming in that we could even manage as flips. Like I said, we had 24 flips going on at once, and we're like, all right, we didn't build our business that way. Let's just be straight up with each other here, and said, okay, this is a wholesale business. Let's get out of all of our inventory and just do wholesale deals. And so that was kind of the transition there. It was much more personal. Nothing wrong with fix and flip. Hell, the fix and flippers make more than us on all of our deals, right? So nothing against that at all. It was just, what we realized we really liked about the business, and really what we had built up until that point that made us make the change.
Yeah. So coming into what's happening right now with this coronavirus and COVID-19 and stuff, as a wholesaler, and also you started after 2008. So this is pretty much, I would say, your first recession that you're going through. How is that affecting your business? Or is it affecting your business? Are you seeing, as a wholesaler, what pivots have you had to make in your business and changes because of what's happening currently?
Yeah, great question as well. Definite reduction in business, mostly coming from the buy side. There's a little bit of sellers out there too, actually, that are also saying, I don't want to sell. I want to wait. I think this is a bad time to sell, even to an investor. So I'm just going to wait for 2 months until this passes and then sell you my house. So I'm getting that from time to time. I'm also getting, of course, sellers freaking out, calling me, say, hey, I need to sell this now. Just give me a couple bucks and we're good. But no, it's really on the buy side. We're seeing a reduction of buyers by about 1/3 off the rip. So we did a survey with our buyers list right when this happened, right? The first thing I thought of is, okay, if I have inventory to move, I need to speak with the people I'm supposed to move it to so I understand how the flow through is going to work. And so in our survey, about 1/3 of buyers said they are not buying at all, for the rest basically of April and potentially May. 2/3 of the buyers said they're still buying. And then of those 2/3, they all basically said they want to buy at a deeper discount to be safe. So what we equated that to was a basic reduction of maybe about half of the deals that we would normally do. But we're still moving them. We're still selling. We've still closed every deal that we were supposed to close so far. So that's all good news. And the only bad news is it is what it is. It's just a little slower than it was 2 months ago. But we are able to find these buyers. Like I said, we've still closed every deal we were supposed to, since this all hit us. So that's great news. Really proud of my team for pulling that off. And, the buyers are out there. It's just taking a lot more effort to find them now to close these deals, but still able to do it.
Yeah, those are new deals that you're trying to put into the pipeline to get rid of. You speaking of, right? Going through the transition. Everyone is saying they want to wait out the rest of the quarter to see, how much more government cheese is going to come out, so to speak, and more free lunch and
Yeah.
go from there. But the unemployment is out of control, man. It's that's a big factor also. Well, I would say it will motivate a lot more sellers who don't have the income or the financial means to liquidate the assets they have and get out of it, maybe rent a smaller place and stuff like that. So on one end, there'll be leads generated from that, but it's just a waiting game. People are getting payment deferrals and everything else, so that snowball hasn't really rolled down the hill yet. Still, growing, so to speak. So,
Yep.
going into, what do you think the opportunities would be more? Do you think towards the end of the year, first quarter of next year, or you just keep going and keeping your regular campaign you have going, refining your lead gen tactics and trying to build up more leads?
So I forgot to mention that we kind of tapered off our marketing to, we're at about a 10% budget to where we normally are right now. So the incoming of new leads is near zero for us, which again is a decision I made because look, if I have massive uncertainty on the backside with these buyers, I really don't want to be dropping the normal 25, 30 grand on marketing right now if I don't know if I can move that many deals. So we're basically down to a skeleton crew for leads coming in. But what's been working well for us is we've been at this for a while. I mean, I've got 3,000 people in my database that said no, they don't want to sell their house. So where we're pulling some of these newer deals from are people that we contacted a year and a half ago and they said no. So we've got them all set up on drip campaigns and stuff like that. And so a lot of the people I'm talking to are people that I've already spent money to market to. And now I'm just trying to figure out a solution for them in this crazy time to see if we can move a house for them. So what's nice is I'm not having to spend 20, 30,000 on marketing to still get normal distress seller leads to work with, right? So if anybody listening right now, if you've got a database of people that told you no, and you kept that information and they still have the house, those people are coming out of the woodworks for us right now. I imagine the same thing would happen with you.
Awesome. Now you mentioned the $25,000, $30,000 in marketing. Is that monthly or is that quarterly? Monthly, right?
Yeah.
I figured out. I just wanted the audience to know that this is something that a lot of the guys do. They spend $25,000, $30,000 a month just to market. So that's what are you doing? Let's talk about the type of marketing: direct mail, postcards, texts, RBMs. TV commercials. Is that everything?
We're not there yet. I know that's the hot topic in CG right now, though. No, we're text and mail and digital. Okay. So we've made a big push this year into really revamping our online presence and kind of online brand. A lot of people, here in Orlando, we've been doing this for almost a decade. So, our physical brand when we're out at networking events and stuff is great, but we don't have the biggest online presence, right? We're not showing up on the search when someone goes and says, sell my house cash, right? So that's been a big focus for us this year, which has been nice because it's the mailers are expensive. That's been big. Digital's been nice for us. Mail's great. So like I said, in the beginning of our business, we wanted to figure out how are these wholesalers getting these deals before us? And so I'm actually a bulk mailer with the post office. So I only pay 27 cents for each letter that I send. We don't do any postcards or anything like that. It's all, personalized envelopes, blue font on the front, handwritten font, stuffed in a letter, live stamp, stuff like that. And then texting as well. So we use Lead Sherpa, and the text has been great for us as well. We just had to get to the right volume level on texting for it to start to pay off. But yeah, just those three channels. And then in terms of lead source, we do anything public record, right? So probate, inheritance, eviction, code violation, divorce, anything like that. And then we also pull some specific lists based on geography as well. Most of our leads are going to be situational. So anything like the public record stuff is what we call a situational lead. But then we do pull geographical leads based on a lot of times what our buyers are looking for. So, if we get a new fund that we get a new relationship going with and they're like, hey, I'm looking for X, X, and X, we'll try to cater our marketing to some degree to what they're looking for. So that was a long-winded answer for you.
No, I appreciate that. So basically your downline are you guys are connecting with funds where you go out and network, so your downline, meaning your buyers, that you will offload products to it. Or is the fund like your biggest buyers, or you find a lot of private investors too that's still, getting it in?
Yeah, no, good question. And so this is one of our big goals this year, is to increase the amount of properties purchased by one buyer and decrease the one-off purchasers. So that's actually, our WIG, 4 disciplines of execution, our wildly important goal for this year on disposition side is to increase the amount of purchases from one buyer. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to really find these funds. We're trying to find these flippers that are doing 10, 15 flips a year, figure out what they're looking for, and then spend our marketing dollars on deals that we know we can sell on the back end. Been in the works for a while. It's definitely a challenge, but that's in a sense what we're trying to do. We're never going to get away from these distress situations that are in public record, but we're trying to really dial in our marketing so that anything that comes through is a true fit, and we know exactly what buyer that's a fit for.
Awesome. I got 2 more questions. The first one is, I see you got behind you the 5 laws. What are those 5 laws? Is that something that you adhere to every day?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you read them there?
It says we are consultants, not salesmen.
Yep.
It's kind of blurry. We listen before we speak. Our main objective is to find the seller's main objective. Our goal is always to offer the best service to the seller. If they want to sell there is absolutely no reason we cannot help them. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And, to kind of wind back, right? Starting as a fix and flipper, buying from auctions, and really on the first few deals getting just crazy assignment fees on some stuff we were buying from wholesalers. We didn't start with the highest opinion, right? I know there's a lot of negative connotations about wholesalers, but these 5 laws, when we made the switch from fix and flipper to wholesaler, we wanted to be different. We didn't want to be the guy that people get the phone call from and then they get screwed over, right? And I know a lot of people out there are running great wholesale businesses, but unfortunately there's some that aren't. So we really wanted to make these laws to remind us, how we can be different than your average wholesaler bugging these people. We want to make sure it's really about them. Look, in wholesale, you're not necessarily doing an investment, right? I invest into my marketing, but I don't buy much property. So it is a service. We are here for these people. So we wanted to make sure that our mindset was right once we got into wholesale.
Awesome. Last question is, what challenges are you going through right now at this moment in your business, and what are you doing to overcome those challenges?
So lower cash flow, obviously, with less deals. So we've gotten extremely lean over the last 45 days in terms of what we're spending money on. All the random stuff, right? Coffee, blah, 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 stuff like that. We've been able to reduce expenses to kind of match some of the reduced revenue. And then really just, I don't want to, sound too cliche here, but really just hard work problem solving. Like I said, our buyers list was cut essentially in half. To me, in my mind, I don't think of that as, okay, I'm only going to have a 50% success ratio. My mind works in, well, how do I make up that 50%? So I've been working really, really hard to partner with people in Orlando or whatever market I'm trying to sell a deal in. Look, if my list got reduced by 50%, so did theirs, but they're going to have somebody on theirs that I didn't. So if we can, if I can work with people and partner with people to move more inventory in this crazy time when my buyers list is reduced like that, that's kind of been my strategy. So really been cold calling a lot of new buyers. I've been calling a lot of the people that I've done JVs with and stuff like that in Orlando. Really just trying to lean on other people that I know can move deals. And then I'm just working hard to just cold call new people.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing your journey and your story, your challenges, and why you're passionate for real estate investing. That's Brian. You did a really good job coming on the show and sharing your view with the guests. I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Anytime. Really, really good to be on and really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the virtual CG in a month.
Oh, awesome. Now, one last thing. If anybody wanted to buy any wholesale deals from you in Orlando, give them some contact information so they can reach out to you.
Sure. So Brian Joyce, emails brian@joycereidcapital.com. You can give me a ring at 407-502-5075. And then our website has all of our deals on it. We've got deals in Georgia, Ohio, and Florida. And that is joycereidcapital.com/buy.
Appreciate it, man. Another great episode of PFREI. I'm your host, Fuquan Bilal. Catch us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all the other good stuff.